raw and uncut. Bell serving them raw and uncut. With no filter. Take it how you take it, you heard? Hey, straight no filter, so you know somebody gonna be in their feelings and I'm be in my bag.
Yo, whether you listening to this on the way to work, whether you in the middle of your lunch day, or whether you laying down at night before you go to bed, welcome to the Raw and Uncut podcast. I'm your host, Rels, and I'm joined by a guest who I've been trying to get on this show what it seems like forever, from Buffalo, but right now residing in Arizona, right?
Correct, down in Phoenix now.
All right, Phoenix, all right. Independent. All right, copy. Independent rapper, artist, T.O. LESTAT. What's going on, brother?
Hey, yo. It's your boy T.O. LESTAT, that is. What's going down with y'all, man? I appreciate you having me on. I know we've been trying to link this up a minute since June, man. Probably we were just joking around maybe a month, maybe longer ago. So, you know, shots out on that too, man. So, cool. I'm happy to be here, man.
Everything good though?
Life is great, man. Life is great. You know what I mean? I can't complain. I have a really good job. You know, I'm a master carpenter. So I do that during the day, full time, kind of independent contractor type thing through a company that helps me with, you know, they pull the W-2s out and I have a retirement for later on in life with the 404C. So I can put money away into the stock market. I like to play the stock market and the crypto market. Always have since I made a lot of money in it in 1920. You know, in the year 2019, 2020, I should say. But so I love the stock market. Works good. You know, my baby girl's good. You know, my daughter, the bean butt. I'm good. You know, I feel mentally healthy. I feel physically healthy. You know what I mean? I'm writing a lot, man. Like, recording a lot. I'm at the Salt Mine Studios with my man Jay Slug every Friday, 4 or 5 hour blocks, you know what I mean, and knocking 3-4 songs out a week. Writing, I don't know, I'm in the middle right now. I write like 26 songs, you know what I mean? Because I just write them and I'll just go through. It's like I read, you know what I mean? I write how I read. You know, I read 3, 4, 5 books at the same time. Read it for 25, 30 minutes. Your mind starts to wander, put it down. Pick up an information book, read. Wander, put it down, pick it up, read. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I'm writing the same way, right? Because I get stuck on a bars or a sequence. I'm like, man, I'm not going to force the song. Set it aside. Go to the next one. Pull that beat up, right? Boom, boom, boom. And I do that for 10, 15 songs a night, 4 or 5 hours a night. So I work from 5 in the morning until like 2 in the afternoon, get back to the crib, relax a little bit, maybe get myself a little something to eat, and then hit the writing process. And if it's the weekend, I'm at the studio or looking to figure out where we're going to start shooting some videos here real quickly. That's the goal here within the month of July, is to get a couple of videos knocked out. Because I got mad songs recorded and I got 10 out. You know, I just dropped the EP Insights. You know, if you haven't heard, it's out on all streaming platforms. Insights, T.O. LESTAT Insights. So you can go under T.O. LESTAT, LESTAT, like the vampire Lestat from the phenomenal Anne Rice novels. You know what I mean? So boom, that's how you find me, man. And I'm there, I'm out. I'm making moves, man. I'm making music. I'm making real hip hop music. You know, talking about like me, myself, my story, in a sense of my feelings, where I'm at mentally, where I'm at, but where I know other people are too, man. You know, like we were saying earlier, I was a teacher for 15 years. So one thing I did during my early years as a man, I studied a lot, obviously, and I studied a lot about, you know, how humans learn, how humans behave, how humans interact, you know, particularly kids, but young adults as well, because I taught 5th through 12th grade, you know, for almost 15 years. And then I went from my secondary job into the college world, to the university, to corporate America, doing the back end stuff with technology with my master's degree and doing all that, you know what I mean? And then I was like, forget this, man. I'm a great carpenter. I quit that, and I will never look back. I don't know how I dealt with education in corporate America for so long, man. Being a carpenter is just so satisfying in a sense. Like, you set out for the day, You get shit accomplished. You can see its accomplishment. You go home at the end of the day, come back, you can do it again. You know, it's man work. And my pops was a man's man. My grandfather on my mother's side was a man's man. You know what I mean? I respect that. You know, I'm old school. I'm an 80s baby. So that work ethic, you know, it means a lot to me, that drive. So I do it all day, man. I work all day, come home, write all night, work all weekend. I do open nights, you know, open mics throughout the city, you know what I mean, throughout Phoenix and, you know, the Valley area pretty much, you know, a couple nights a week. You know what I mean? I don't even get home sometimes until 2:30 in the morning. I'm up at 4 to go back to work at 5 o'clock. You know what I mean? And I do that day in, day out religiously, man. So I'm good. You know, if I'm working, I'm busy. You know, they say my grandmother is Sicilian, you know, and she would say a devil's hand is idle. She'd say it in Italian, you know what I mean? I can't remember how she would say it, so I don't want to embarrass myself.
I know what you're saying, because you know it's the same saying almost. It's like a idle's mind is devil's playground.
Right,
so
man. Exactly.
It's like if you sit there to your own devices, not trying to accomplish something or not trying to be productive, leads you to sometimes do things you shouldn't be doing. So I get it totally.
100%, man. And that's kind of where T.O. LESTAT came out of, you know what I mean, was sitting around in a point in my life with extreme idle time, because my life situation had just done a complete 180 and went the other way. You know, married, beautiful daughter, beautiful house up in the hills in Australia, working hard, owning my own carpentry business, you know, stacking the cake, you know what I mean? Like doing mad jobs, but going between here, San Diego, Los Angeles, you know, constantly. My 2 brothers, I'm a triplet as well. Yep. So I got 2 brothers. So I'm, you know, they're my 2 best friends, 2 biggest supporters. You know, my one brother, my identical twin, Trevor, he's more of a supporter than my other brother. You know what I mean? But my other brother still supports me, shows me love. You know, like if he knows if I need something and I don't have it, he'll give it to me to make sure I can go make this hip hop stuff happen. So, you know, my brothers are where it's at, and my mom's, you know what I mean, of course. But so yeah, I'm a triplet. So they hold down work too. They're both carpenters. One's a master carpenter. They're both master carpenters, you know what I mean? But one's trying and going to school and perfecting and becoming a master furniture builder, and the other one is a GC. You know what I mean? Like, and a GC in a sense, like when you realize like he's when there's buildings going up in Phoenix, downtown Phoenix, or any of these buildings you see going on, he's the guy in charge of all of the trades, making sure they're going on. Like that's how high of a level he's holding in these working establishments. And I admire that, because I'm a carpenter myself and I work in some of those situations. I'm like, damn, to be the super, bro, you know how tight that would be, man. You know, you walk around looking at plans and making sure everybody's doing what they're doing. Easiest job in the world, man. Making them mad money.
Are your brothers into the hip hop like you are?
Both of them, absolutely.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. My brother Trevor, my identical twin Burns. You know what I mean? That's what I call him. So I just call him Burns. You know what I mean? 100% into hip hop. Huge hip hop head. If anybody's into like woodworking or anything of that nature, you just like the sight or the beauty of wood, and he's able to bring it out, make it shine, and tables, live edge, and waterfall tables, and dressers, and you know what I mean. I'm talking just phenomenal, right? Wesley Michael Woodworking. I'm gonna shoot him out real quick at Wesley Michael Woodworking on pretty much all handles. You know what I mean? And stuff, because he's just good like that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna shoot my brother out, but he's a hip hop head, man. He'll be bumping my stuff in the shop, you know what I mean? And he'll throw a video, put it up on the gram for me, you know what I mean? Because he's like, yeah, man, I want to give you some exposure. I'm like, man, I appreciate that more than you know, bro.
Man, listen, you never know who he might play for, who might catch it and be like, oh, I like that. Who is that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Someone be scrolling through, somebody be scrolling through and be like, you know, they like woodworking, because if you truly enjoy, you know, not this fabricated junk that the table my laptop's sitting on, that's IKEA, you know what I mean, or one of these big brand store names. It's all garbage, man. It's all particle board. You know what I mean? It's not real. Like, you know, if you enjoy the essence, not only of it being, you know, I enjoy the essence of making it. You know what I mean? it's just as relaxing as writing and performing in the booth for me. You know what I mean? I won't say going on stage because like when I go on stage, man, I get winded and it's just it's a lot of energy, man. It's a lot of energy. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna front, man. I'm getting in, and I got I'm working with a cool DJ that lets me come in. I rock the mic every Wednesday, DJ Pash. You know what I mean? So out of Detroit, he's located here in Phoenix. He works with the Rock Nation and stuff. So I'll be going there and killing it every week, man, trying to just get better and better and better and better and better, bro.
So let's take a step back. How did you actually get into hip hop in the first place, and then how did you get in from listening to the hip hop? How did you get into the hip hop, but also how did you get in to start being like, okay, this is something I can do. Let me be a rapper. Let me put it out there. Okay,
great question. So I got into hip hop. So I said I'm an '80s baby. You know what I mean? So my cousins were a little bit older than I. You know what I mean? I would watch them pull the cardboard square out or the linoleum floor and break dance in the street. You know what I mean? That age group. You know what I'm talking about too. So that age group of hip hop, where it was conscious, where it was poor righteous teachers, where it was, you know what I mean, a movement in a sense of consciousness, of community, of, you know what I mean, and it's breakdancing and it's just funky and it's, you know what I mean, and it's not violent. Hip hop right now I think is very violent. But anyway, so they put me on Houdini, you know what I mean, the Fat Boys. So my cousin Marky and my cousin Gracine would give us cassette tapes, man. And it's 84, 85, 86. I'm like 5 years old, 6 years old. I'm bumping the Fat Boys, Fat Boy, Rock, Dance, Rule, Around the Clock, or my Nut song, you know what I mean? I'm like 6 years old, dog. I'm watching Disorderlies, the movie, you know what I mean? So I got into hip hop at an early age, same with my brothers too, you know what I mean? So I got into hip hop very, very early on in my life because I liked rock and roll, and I still do. I love rock and roll and appreciate a lot of music, you know what I mean? But I really got turned on to hip hop then when I saw that, and then they put me on the Digital Underground in '88, man. I still have the record he gave me and the cassette tape, to be honest with you. So Digital Underground is what put me into hip hop. I'll be 100%. I loved the Fat Boys and that, but I still listen to rock and roll as well. But when I saw Digital Underground, Shock G, with the personifications, with the band, with the showcase, with the bring over that P-Funk, that my uncles and my dad and them liked, you know what I mean? And I was like, this is ridiculous, dude. Look at him up there, right? You know what I mean? Any one of his albums. So I got put on to hip hop in probably like 86. And then I started to spit rhymes. Shit, I'll probably say like 5th or 6th grade, man. I started writing rhymes, and I would rhyme them and rap them. And, people in my cipher in the area, they would also spit. And, it got to a point where I was just freestyling. I didn't even really know it at the time, but we're just spitting bars. I'm just rhyming. And I'm telling whole stories. And my friends and shit are just looking at me like, oh, my God. I'm killing it, man. Like, I know a lot of rappers say that, and a lot of MCs say that, because I consider myself an MC, an artist and an MC, so to speak. But I'm killing freestyles, man, and I'm killing writing, and I'm just loving it, and I'm doing something creative. Because I was a drummer, you know what I mean, my whole life. So I had the rhythm of it all, boom, you know what I mean, and I could hear that boom back, that of the hi-hat and the cymbal distorted, you know what I mean, in hip-hop. So I had that rhythm, and so that's what put me onto it. I didn't start doing it. I did it a lot in my 20s in college, and would crush people. They did not suspect this little Sicilian because I was, I'm not overly large in stature, you know what I mean? 5'10", $160, soaking wet with my Timbs and a puffy coat on, you know what I mean? For real, son. For real. So, but that never, so they didn't expect me to come about the corner of the woodworks and just spit. And I'm not talking about stupid shit. My stuff isn't like just rhyming words together. I'm like composing whole narratives. You know what I mean? Because my mind, like I told my boy the other day, it's a 3-part process when you're freestyling. You got to let everything go. And in the very inner core of your mind, words are starting to formulate and friction together. So you can kind of get an idea of what you're going to do. You black out a little bit, you zone out. They go to the next phase, right? You start just getting rough sentences, and then they go to the outer cortex of your mouth where they hit your mouth out of your tongue, and now they're becoming words that are making sense, because layer 2 is putting the sense together and continuing it or switching it. You know how you could do, you know what I mean? Like whatever, you know what I mean? And then the inner part is going to always be continuously providing words to you. You know what I mean? And that's been a huge part of my flow styles, my vocabulary, in a sense that my vocabulary is massive. And I read. I've always read a lot. I believe in reading. I stress this to any kid that's listening to this, any parent that's listening to this. You know, if you want your kids to excel in everything they do, make them read. Have you read to them. You know, like my daughter, she got like 500 books when she was in 3rd grade. You know why? Because we read every single one of them. And then she wanted to read every single one of them. And she did by kindergarten. You know what I mean? And then we're reading 1st grade books and 2nd grade books. And she's reading Amelia Bedelia in the 1st grade, 3rd grade book, right? So reading, so my vocabulary is big. And so then what hits me is life. Like I said, my life takes a 180, and I'm sitting at my boy's house doing nothing. I'm sitting back in the backyard having a J, having a sea-tail, you know what I mean? Drinking my Clamatos because it's hot in Arizona, for real. And I'm just writing in my phone, you know what I mean? No beat or nothing. Just writing, and I'm like, all right, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna do this. I like that, boom, boom, boom. And I'm just kind of, what I start doing is just what had happened in life. I start writing it all out, but like creating a story out of it. I mean, that's where I came up with Judith. Then I came up with Microphone Maestro, because I'm like, was just being felt real arrogant. You know what I mean? And Judith is like a real story almost. You know what I mean? In a sense, like names have been changed, but you know what I'm saying in there is reality. You know what I mean? That's what really happened for real. You know what I mean? And to process that information instead of going crazy, or I don't really like talking to a lot of people, but I'll talk to a shrink if I need to. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but like that was my therapy, man. It was like just like, I just fucking hit the pen and started writing, and then I wrote Judith. I wrote a lot of tracks I just recorded because I found them deep in there, and I pulled them up over the last like month and a half, and like five or 6 weeks. The last 5 weeks I've been recording songs I wrote last May, June, in July. Totally forgot about them because I just would keep them. After I got into that bus last May 5th, starting May 6th, T.O. LESTAT was born, man. That's when he came out. Todd, the individual, was devastated and crushed and betrayed and hurt. You know what I mean? And T.O. LESTAT stepped up and came through, boom, and took the reins and said, "We're gonna do this rapping shit. Forget all this other nonsense. People doubted you on this, and not no more. They're not gonna." And boom, we came through, and bam, son, I just started writing some ill raps. And I, got my engineer, Jay Slug. I got a hold of him probably in July, and he's like, "Yeah, okay, man, we'll do it." He didn't believe me. And then I was blessed when I went home to Buffalo. I'm boys with a local MC out there that's linked in with the Griselda movement and raps with him and has features and all that stuff with him. A real cool cat, you know what I mean? My boy King Ralph. And he puts me onto his guy, Imminent. And then here I just start getting beats from Imminent because, Imminent's a down-ass dude. And he's like, "Oh, you want to buy some beats?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll definitely buy some beats." He's like, "All right." Sends me a 10-pack. I said, "How much do I owe you?" He's like, "Well, how many do you want?" I said, "I want all of them." Like, really? He's like, "Yeah." So he threw me a price. I shot him the money. And like 3 weeks, I was like, "Yo, what's up with another 10-pack, man?" He's like, "You already went through those?" I was like, "Nah, I went through like 5 or 6 of them. One girl I'm gonna have sing on another one, so 7. You know what I mean?" And I do have that song recorded. Says, "Send me 10 more." He's like, "How many do you think you're gonna want of them?" I said, "All 10 of them, bro." So I started buying beats off of them, just like that, man. And now I can't even count the amount of beats that I have from them because, I don't care. You got to have beats if it's a major tool in your craft. You know what I'm saying? It's nice to be able to just dig into my computer and be like, "All right, yeah, I like that. I was fucking with that beat like 2 months ago. Can't even remember what I was writing or freestyling, but I remember it did something. Let me check my notes. Oh yeah, it has some sort of little melody going. Yeah, oh yeah, that's what it was. Boom, grab it, write it, go to the booth and spit it. You know what I mean? And so that's how it's been, man. Life changed, and so with life's changes, Todd changed, and I said, I'm gonna do what I want, man. And I'll be honest, even my man back home, I was like, man, I can't have T.O LESTAT because, the name. It's just I'm being told by people, people look at you as bad because you're crazy and this, that, and the third. I said, man, all right, I won't use it. And when I went home, my man Ralph said, he's like, man, fuck that, man. Use that T.O LESTAT shit. That shit is hard, bro. And I was like, you think so, bro? He's like, absolutely, man. I'll never forget. I was like, you're right, man. I appreciate that, son. For real, being real with me. He's like, who cares what other people think? If they don't like your music or like what you're doing, they don't gotta listen to it, man.
So pretty much, you almost gave up on the name because other people said something about it.
Yeah, because I was at a point in my life where I was just like, So I can talk about it now. So it was involved in some bullshit, a case, you know what I'm saying? And she's and the person that was going to be, trying to hurt me with it is going to be pulling pictures and because you can see it says armed and educated. I'm armed and I'm educated, but I'm armed in the mind most importantly versus the Second Amendment armament and armed in the mind. Armed of knowledge of self, armed of knowledge of the law, so that I can't be taken advantage of, and armed in knowledge of consciousness in general. You know what I mean? So I can understand, try to communicate in this crazy, hectic world that we're being put into, and honestly, just kind of it all being distorted our way as it hits the bubble of reality and fluxes into your eardrums. You know what I mean? And you hear it differently than I do. So there's no understanding of it.
So basically, T.O LESTAT just really is just the name that's just like, fuck what everybody thinks. This is who I am.
This is who I am because my name is Todd, and all of my people back home, anybody you talk to, because I'm from the Buffalo area outside of Buffalo and Jamestown. You know what I mean? It was where I was born. I got a lot of family and friends there that have been there and have moved out. Now they're in Buffalo, they're in Rochester, they're in Cleveland, San Diego, Florida, you name it, man. You know what I mean? Because it's just Western New York, you know what I mean? So there ain't much there, unfortunately. So I went to Buffalo, went to school with it, and so my name is Todd, and everybody call me T.O. Hey, yo, T.O., or T.O double D, you know what I mean? That's what I used to call it. Hey, yo, T.O double D, you know what I mean? And they would holler that at me. And then LESTAT is my favorite character. Like I said, Anne Rice novels. I've read all of the LESTAT books. It's like 13 of them or something. You know what I mean? And the vampire LESTAT is like the most gangster vampire you'll ever meet, the most romantic vampire, the most magnificent vampire, the most beautiful vampire, the most giving, loving, understanding, empathetic, sympathetic, cruel, godly, demonic. You know what I mean? Just anything you could think of about LESTAT, he is it. The Renaissance man, you know what I mean, of vampires, bro. And he's untimely. You know what I mean? And I'm like, that's my style, son, is that. My style in hip hop is any one of them things, because I'll have a love song or I'll have a player song, or I'll just have a downright nasty song. I'm talking about dogging a chick, you know what I mean? And doing nasty shit, son. Or, I got a lot of tracks recorded that are, some are dark, it's the struggle between God and the devil, you know what I mean? It's, the struggles within life, which are just realities, the depressions, the anxieties, like in my Insights joint where I'm talking to God in that New Year's resolution song, you know what I mean? I'm telling
that's my joint too.
Take away from me, if you look at what I say, dear God, take away my, you know what I mean? And I use all synonyms of the word take away. That's all that first verse is, just synonyms of take away, annihilate. You know what I mean? I could go to them all, and then the antonym of it is to bring to me, and that's what the whole second bar stanza is. And synonyms of the word bring to me. Give me this, help me with that.
It's crazy. I never noticed that, and
go back and listen to it.
I'm gonna go back and listen, absolutely, because now that you said it, now it's gonna give this song a whole different meaning now.
Yeah, go back and listen to it, because those aren't just. I'm not just. This is. I was in a review once, and the dude was like, "Oh, anybody can just look up words and put them together and rhyme. And I said, I said, man, I appreciate your feedback because I appreciate all feedback. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then I'm like, is my rhymes too intense in a sense? Like, you know, I do use some bigger words. I'm not gonna front. You know what I mean? My vocabulary is up there, so I don't need to use the same corny words all the time because I have other words that I can use and rhyme together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't you use them, right? You know what I mean? And so that's what my style kind of defined by. It can be chaotic on a crazy beat. It can be chaotic. It can be smooth on a player beat. It can be. I have a couple that are chopped up. I got a couple where I'm just spitting fast. I got a couple where I'm even messing around in there with a little, trying to sing a little bit in a sense, like not sing, but stretch my vocals, like my boy was saying, know my vocal range and work within that, man. Roll to the high, see where you can go to the highest of that and to the lowest of that, bro. He's like, why wouldn't you? He's like, you got a nice voice. He's like, he said to me, what's distinct about your sound is your voice is very distinct on that mic, son. I was like, I appreciate that, man. You know, because I want distinctness and uniqueness. I don't want to sound like nobody else. I don't want my style to even appear to be of anybody else. Because again, I'm an 80s baby. I grew up listening to 90s hip hop. And if you were biting someone's style, that shit ain't cool, man. And I'm not biting anyone's style. I can't think of anyone out there that I'm trying to bite their style. You know what I mean? I'm just doing T.O. LESTAT. That's why I know I have a song. It's like, I'm a B T.O. LESTAT.
Has anybody ever compared your music to anybody else's?
You know, they say, you know, a lot of people are like, you know, your shit is very unique. It's your style. You know what I mean? It's cool. Your shit is unique and it's you. You know what I mean? He's like, and if it had to be compared, he says it could be compared with like different members of Wu-Tang, different Mortal Technique, you know, some Gravedigger shit on some of my shit is real dark. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know, people, some shit like that. You know what I mean? That type of an era. Prodigy one suits. I said, no, you can't even compare me to Prodigy. So, come on, that's P you're talking about. Come on, man. He's like, no, but your storytelling, because I storytell a lot, concept wise. You know, and what I have out right now is, you know, my 10 joints I came out with, and when I started recording and shit, you know what I mean? And because it's there, and every time I feel like every time I go in a booth, it don't matter what song I write, but every time I go in a booth with my engineer, Slug, we flip the script on it, and I'm like, I come out of there and I'm like, that was the best session we've ever had, bro. Like, holy shit, dude, you know, I love what you did with the drop, the this, the that, you know. So like, I love that you like New Year's resolution, because I told you, between you and me on you know, when we was just DMing, I said that's the point kind of where I found myself as an artist. You know, Judith was there, and I would love to redo Judith, respit that song with the type of flow that I have now and how I approach the microphone booth, which is completely different, obviously, than when I first started out doing it. And people don't know, but maybe they don't know about it. But I've only been rhyming since May of last year, where I'd taken it serious in recording. You know, I met my beat maker in September. I got beat September, October, and I think we started recording, and we were supposed to go in November, but I couldn't because, you know, I just, some stuff came up and I had to take care of other responsibilities first. You know, push it into December. And, you know, the first time I remember, man, my brother came with me, a bunch of cats came with me, you know what I mean? I was like, we're getting 8 hours up in there, do it. And I knocked out like a song, boom, an hour. 3-4 hours down, and I'm like, man, I'm fucking tired. You know what I mean, bro? I was like, yo, can we do these other 4 hours a different day, dude? He's like, you want to? Because he was tired too, because if the engineer is doing their proper job, they're listening, they're adjusting, they're working, they're thinking, they're also doing a lot of work. You know, great engineer is everything, man. And I'm blessed to have the guy I got, in the sense that he's phenomenal. You know, Jay Slug is a phenomenal engineer, and he has an ear and a neck because he's an MC himself, and he's a producer himself, and he's a beast of an engineer, man. And I'm at the Salt Mine Studios, which is like one of the best studios in the state, if not one of them in the country.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
It is.
I love the
Things have been.
dedication to the music you got. Like you could tell, like when you talk about the music, how passionate you are. And a lot of artists don't have that same passion. It's like a lot of people just want to do it for the exposure, for the fame. But you could tell that you like to do it because you love it.
Man, I love making music, man. Like if I don't get it, and if I could get if I could get my engineer on the phone right now, because we joke about it all the time. It's like that. I say it in one of my songs. I wrote a song one time to my brothers, and I'm gonna publish it. It's a dope song. It's called I don't even know if I have the title for it yet. You know what I mean? But it's what it's about is everything that's happened to me and how it's just been like punch after punch after punch after punch after punch for like a year and a half now. You know what I mean? And it really has been, man. And I'm a fighter. You know what I mean? I'm a pitch buzzard is what we say, man. You know what I mean? And my mom's a Dominican and my grandfather's a La Monica, son. So like we come from a deep family in Sicily. You know what I mean? We really do. And on my Swedish side, that comes from the Viking side of me. And then my dad's family traces to the Vikings and stuff, man. And my dad was a mean, tough dude, man. And so I have resilience in me. So you cannot break me down. I might be hurting, but I'm not going down, dog. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep trucking forward, bro. Every day, up at 8 or up at 3:30, work by 5, crush it all day at work. Whatever the boss needs done, I'm doing it. Taking this shit, getting shit done. Boom, 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 boom. 5 days a week, and then all weekend I'm in the studio and writing. And then all two nights a week, sometimes 3 nights a week, I'm doing open nights until 2:30 in the morning. You know what I mean? So I'm grinding right now, putting all this together, man, by myself.
That's what I'm talking about. The dedication goes unmatched. Trust me, when you work hard like that, the results will show off, and people will notice.
They will show off. You know how I'm a firm believer there, because I was a teacher for 15 years. You know what I mean? And there's one thing I would tell my kids: there's hard work, persistence, and patience pays off.
Absolutely.
Period. And that's a fact, son. If you keep hard working, persistent at it, and you are patient in your craft, and you are patient with what you are doing, it will pay off for you. It might not become right when you want it, but when in life do you get right what you want right when you want it? Only in this digital age. I'm old school, man, so I'm used to and understand shit don't come like that, man. Like I was hungry yesterday. I was like, man, I want some chicken wings. I'm like, damn, it's like 11. Car's not acting up. I was like, oh, Uber Eats. And they had chicken wings here in 20 minutes. And I say extra crispy. It takes 18 to make them. When they're extra crispy. You know what I mean? So they had them in there. 2 minutes they were here, bro. So it's like, this is the information age where you can do that. You know what I mean? But I'm old school, man. You can't break me down. I will stay persistent. I will stay patient, because my time will come, in a sense it always does. God is always with me, man, because I work hard and I put him first. I put my family second, and then I put everything else.
That's what's up. So, we're gonna wrap up the interview, right? But I got 2 questions. Two last questions. So the first one, I noticed that on your IG page that you did like a skit where it's almost like Todd is interviewing T.O. LESTAT.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Okay, to be honest, so I'm part of a phenomenal community of MCs, artists, producers, content creators called the Sauce Community. To any MC out there, I'm giving you an open invitation right now. Come check us out. Tell them T.O. LESTAT, come and see me in the Sauce Community. See if it's a good fit for you, and we can get you moving forward in it. But we talk all the time, man. It's a group of MCs that are just as dedicated as Bash. We got an EP coming out here, actually an LP probably coming out here pretty soon, of some dope MCs, man, across the country, from Seattle to here to Denver, Delaware to Albany to down south to Pennsylvania you name it. We got cats everywhere. We work together. So I'm sitting there in the conversation in the sauce chat, you know what I mean, and in the listening room, and I'm thinking, what can I do, man, to create content, right? Because we're talking about, we just talk about things to help each other, right? And I'm like, and I'm taking notes, as I always do if something's important to me, so I can go back to it and re-look at it. And I took the notes. I just said, insights, what are they? That's what I said. And then I wrote, like, I got to do something with Judith. I got to do something with Who Am I? I got to do something like from my side. So I got to still keep pumping that music. These guys are right. Why would I let that? There's billions of people that haven't heard this yet. Keep pushing it out there, dog. Don't slow on it. You know what I mean? For real. So then when I went back to my notes later on at night, I'm like, insights, what are they? I'm like, what are your insights to LESTAT for this? I'm like, well, what each song's about life. Of a different component of life. If you listen to the whole LP, the whole EP. You know what I mean? And I'm going to break down what each song is in the insight for each song, right? And do the same thing 4 more times, bro. And I'm like, how could I do this? And I'm like, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, you know what would be kind of cool? You know, because I'm like a skit of some sort where maybe Todd Pitts, the owner of Armed and Educated, interviews T.O. LESTAT. And I was like, that might kind of cool, man. Fucking stupid. Who knows? Try it out. Who cares? So I went through my gangster ass, 3-piece suit on. You know what I mean? Just the top part of it. I was like, oh, my hair's a mess because it's in that phase where it's almost gonna be long because I want to grow it long so I can put it in a samurai. You know what I mean? But I was like, oh, I have an awesome New York anti-gun violence hat where it's black on black, so you can't really see the logo. So I put that out with the black suit. I was like, this is bro. And then I did a couple takes, boom, boom, boom. Put it together, ran it through my own video because I have to do all my own promotion and marketing. That's why it's, you know what I mean? I want to continue to get better at it. I just keep getting better at it, as I should say. As I do more, I'm getting better. As I do more, I'm getting better. You know what I mean? I'm adding more things, thinking more ideas. So I came up with that just from a conversation we started in the Source community. You know what I mean? And then I looked at it again later, and I was like, oh, an interview would be cool. Because honestly, and I'll be honest, I was thinking about our interview with you. I just did an interview with my boy Static 64 out of South Phoenix. Him and I met a really dope producer over there that I'm gonna start working with, I think, too, getting some other beats and shit. You know what I mean? So I did an interview there. I was like, I just did 2 interviews, and it just kind of came to me, man. And I was like, yeah, that'd be kind of cool, man. Like, I interview myself.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is, because you could actually do that. Like, say, like when you come out with yeah, exactly. There you go. Yep. See, we was thinking the same thing. Exactly, and it'll work. Old school songs, like, remember, like the old school, like, Bad Boy albums used to have like a bunch of skits, and they used to do all of that type of stuff. So it would definitely work with your album. You could actually do a skit that probably could lead into a song or whatever. So
yeah, you actually right on that. It's a great idea, dude. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I do. I write all my own material, but I just pick up like that right there. That's a great idea, man. So it's like, how can I incorporate that into an album, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Skit, because I've been telling my man, I was like, man, I want to get some skits, like old school albums, like some funny shit, like the Mad Rapper shit, like, you know what I mean? Or Onyx used to have, it's Onyx, get on, you know what I mean? Like something that defined who they were as a group. Is something not just music, but something that also gave a portrayal maybe that of them and their personas in the hip hop world. The personas in the hip hop world is who is Onyx. You know what I mean? I remember that was one of them. Who is Onyx? You know what I mean? And all of them did shit like that. DMX did shit like that. You're right, man. Even Shock G did stuff like that. He would have the Funky Man reprise and stupid shit.
Yeah, the skit could lead right into the song. The skit could lead right into the album. You could have an interview with yourself at the beginning, say something that'll turn right into the beginning of the album, and you just go off from there.
Right, son. I like that. That's good thinking, man. So this is why I love, and this is the other thing I would say that I've done a lot of, which is been a major benefit for me, is networking, man. I have just been reaching out to, talking to, throwing my tapes out to battle with anybody at any time. I don't care, because I just want to put my stuff out there, because even if I don't win it, someone's going to like it. Come on, man. If you have 30 people are listening, if I grab 5 listeners, I'm happy, man. That's a good percentage of return on investment, because that 5 turns a few more. And then it builds a little more confidence in you.
You have 30 people, and one person likes it, one person plays it, then their inner circle might like it. So it's going to be a repeated process.
Exactly. So it's like I know it, and that's how I ended up, believe it or not, meeting Sticks, because that's how we kind of got together, is through Sticks Gambino. You know, you got the Sticks shirt on, so I got the red one.
Yeah, I put it on for the I put it on for the interview because you know he was the one that put this together. He was the one that laid the groundwork. So shout outs to Stack.
I was looking for mine, but it's in the whoosh because I have a roommate that kind of moved in, so I was like, all right, I gotta get all my clothes out and boom, 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 and it's in the wash now. You know what I mean? Because I wore it the other day, bro. Because it's a Gully shirt. I'm gonna get it is a Gully shirt. I'm gonna get the Luciano one that he has with the eye faded out. Because Lucky Luciano is my favorite gangster, man.
Yeah, he definitely his music is definitely. I've been messing with him for about a year now, actually. So definitely got a dope relationship with him, and I definitely shout him out for putting this interview together to begin with.
I agree with that. Shouts out to Sticks Gambino, yo. If you're not on him, he's a disgusting, mean battle rapper, bro. He'll knock your socks off, son. And he puts together dope EPs and LPs in a sense where he's, you know, because you can have a battle rapper, but they can't do much more than that. But Sticks, I love about his sound and his style is that he is battle rapping, but he's also putting albums in a sense where, because to put an album, it's got to be conceptual. Like, you can't just jam 10 random songs together and put out an album. You know what I mean? You got to have some thematic interwoven concept, I would think, which if you want the people to repeat listening to it. Because once people realize that, oh shit, what he's doing in this song or series of songs flows together, done. Facts. You know, they're gonna go back and listen from the beginning now instead of listening to the two songs. You're gonna listen to the whole album straight through.
Absolutely. And last question I want to ask you, we was discussing it before we started the podcast. You said yourself that you're coming out with a podcast. So for the listeners out there, explain to them what your podcast is about.
Yeah, podcast is coming out through Armed and Educated. Again, Armed and Educated. Keep your mind armed. Keep your mind armed. You know what I mean? And educated. And so we are going to be coming out. T.O. LESTAT's going to be coming out of the podcast called His Story, HIS-STORY, the rewriting of history. And writing is going to be spelled RIGHTNG in a sense that we're playing a double entendre, obviously, on the word writing, because you could rewrite history in a sense like all historians have as they reescribe it and pass it on to the next generation. That's how it used to be done before it was just printed off on the internet, you know, and printing presses were available. A historian truly pushed the history onto the next generation, reescribed it, rewriting it. You know what I mean? But we're writing it because there's a lot of lies in history. We have been lied to. I was a teacher. I was a social studies teacher for 15 years almost, from Buffalo to Phoenix here. And I never once used a textbook. I use all primary documents because I was a firm believer that I'm going to give kids the truth, man. And upon doing so, I noticed a lot of discrepancies in what we teach kids and what actually occurred. Not only that, the value of what we're teaching kids. We're teaching kids economics that's outdated in a sense like we should be teaching kids economics of true life, how we're banking, you know, how you can set up an LLC, run your kids through it and get money off of that saved through your taxes and make them millionaires when they're 30s and 40s. You know what I mean? You should be teaching how to create generational wealth, man. You know what I mean? And we're not being taught that. That's being taken from us. You know what I mean? And so we're going to be rewriting history, man. We have a lot of fabrications. You know what I mean? I would say that 85% of this world is dumb, deaf, and blind, man. They need to be the continued truth. You know, I'm part of that 5% that needs to continuously pushing the truth onto people, whether you want to hear it or not. I'm going to make it available for you. So I think podcasting is a great way to do it in this new age. They don't want to read a book. I was in the process of writing a book, but people don't want to read books, really, unfortunately. So get a podcast going and write books from there, Todd.
It'd just be like an audio book. They're going to listen to it one way or another.
Exactly. But actual physical books, too, because I'm going to be coming with physical prints on records and tape cassettes, too, for my albums.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So let me know when that all drops. I could definitely push that. Let me know when the podcast drops. I appreciate you for being a guest on this podcast. Definitely appreciate you. This interview was long due, man. So for real.
Yeah, it was. And I love it, man.
Nah, I appreciate you. So before we close out, let everybody know where they can find you again, where they can find your music, where they can find you on social media platforms, everything.
All right, yeah, absolutely. First off, shout out to Rouse. You know, what I mean, I appreciate you bringing me on, man. It has been long due, and you know, we're gonna hope to see much more of each other here moving forward in the future. You know what I mean?
Well, we got some projects we're working on.
Yeah, we got projects coming, guys. So it's on and popping. I am on on Instagram. I'm T.O _LESTAT T.O LESTAT. On Facebook, I'm T.O LESTAT LESTAT. Same on Twitter. Same on TikTok. T.O LESTAT. So T.O LESTAT on all of those platforms, except for Instagram is T.O _ LESTAT, because they won't let you put periods in your thing.
Yeah, it's too much. Yeah, I know. I know. Trust me.
It's ridiculous. And I'm on all streaming platforms. So same on YouTube, T.O LESTAT. Come check me on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Tidal. You know, this is what I would suggest everybody do. Like, share, listen.
Absolutely.
Playlist. Like, share, listen, playlist. You know what I mean?
It takes 2 seconds to like it. It takes 2 seconds to subscribe. Like 2 seconds. Like it's all it takes.
Yep. And you never know, man, because I be coming with some real shit. I really do. I be talking about real things, man. I'm not out here rapping and capping. You know what I mean? I'm actually spitting some truth. And I think that I think it's a good time for it, because we're in an era right now that in this little dip, I can jump in and put something positive out there. You know what I mean? In the sense that people can listen to and be like, all right, this shit's tight, bro. You know what I mean? And it doesn't necessarily have to be go buy flowers for people and shit type shit. You know what I mean? It's just conscious hip hop.
I feel you. Yeah. Well, with that being said, though, I appreciate you. I definitely have you back on as a guest in the future, but I definitely appreciate you for being a guest, and definitely, man,
absolutely,
enjoy it.
Man. I appreciate it too, man, because I tell you, I love hip hop, man, and until LESTAT ain't stopping. You know what I mean? We're keeping on climbing. Every release, Insights out now, Judith out now, Who Am I out now, Microphone Maestro out now. Go stream them. Go stream them. Go like them. Go download them. Go playlist them. And a new 3-pack coming the beginning of August. So we'll talk to y'all later. Shouts out to your boy T.O LESTAT.
Yeah, with that being said, that's T.O LESTAT, yo. Man, I take care, man. I'll holler at you.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it, man. We'll link back up.
You already?
Yes, sir.
Bro, this is raw.